All right, welcome back to the Hardcount Heroes Fantasy Show. I'm your host, Jarrett. I'm once again joined by Nick, Bryce, and Dalton. We are without Cameron for this episode, but we're going to make do. This is episode 4 for us, and we're just coming off of week 6 in the league, and we're going to have some very exciting matchups to talk about from the past week. But first, we got some other important production information to address. So guys, the first Hardcount Heroes gaming video is up on the page right now, this YouTube page. It's Nick playing some NFL Pro Era, the VR football game, and I personally laughed my ass off watching it for the first time, so I bet you will too. So I recommend you go check that out after the podcast, or go watch it right now and then come back to this after. And then as for other news, unfortunately the Packers pregame show is going to get put in the back burner for a bit, and it very well might become a different production in the whole. Honestly, guys, I just don't think the show is quite there yet for the vision we have for it, so the team is going to re-strategize, and we're going to come out with an amazing production in the end. It's just going to take some time, so we're going to need you to bear with us. So keep your eyes out for that. And then lastly, guys, if you enjoy the show, please share it and get it out into the public eye so we can grow a community. We've been working our tails off here at Hardcount Heroes to create quality content for you. And this is only the beginning, my friends. So any other type of interaction is greatly appreciated by us. So with that being said, let's roll into the games from last week. So we definitely had an exciting week, I'd say. The first one I want to get into is Judge Judy versus Jordan's Nut. Obviously, we don't have Cameron here to go over the analysis of that game, but that's all right. So everyone picked Cameron to win this game, and we were sadly disappointed, right?
We were very wrong.
I'm not sadly disappointed. I'm happily disappointed.
I mean, you were rooting for Greg. You said you didn't think Greg was going to win it, though. You were like, I was
rooting, like I said. Yeah, I did, but I didn't think it was possible, but it was possible.
Yeah, you fucking stomped him.
You mollywomped him.
135.72 to 162.7. Patrick Mahomes.
That's Greg's highest scoring game.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes went under projection, surprisingly, against Buffalo. He threw a crucial INT late in that game. That was a very interesting game, I'd say. Probably the game of the week from last week. And Bryce Hall, though, I will say a positive for Cameron is that Bryce Hall kind of dominated the Packers. He put up 20.10 when he was projected for 14 points. So that was really impressive by him.
Definitely a good player to have on your fantasy team. Right?
Yeah, I was hoping to get Bryce Hall in a trade from him earlier on in the year, and I should have pulled the trigger on it, but I kind of opted not to because I didn't think he was going to want to trade him. But
what about DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, that's a whole different story.
DeAndre Hopkins.
And David Montgomery for Cameron also had just 9 points. So that was in that Thursday night game. That was whack as fuck, I may add. The Bears and Commanders. Yeah. Who the hell wants to watch that? It was 12-7 final score. I mean, that was kind of a shit show.
I'd rather watch the WNBA.
I think most people would rather watch paint dry than watch a Bears and Commanders football game on Thursday night. I mean, they had Colts and Broncos the week before. Now it was Bears and Commanders, and both of those are just shit games. And now this Thursday, this can be after the time this gets posted, but the Cardinals and the Saints are playing, so I don't expect that to be a whole lot better. There might be a little more offense, but honestly, I think it's kind of a sham. Allen Lazard went for 17.6. That was another positive for Cameron, but it was not enough, though, to catch up to Greg, with Jamar Chase putting up 32.2 points, really breaking out. Who would have thought that was happening from Jamar Chase, as he's been quiet in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so I'm impressed by that, I will say. And then he had Ramondre Stevenson put up 25.10, and that was pretty nice too for him. I mean, I wanted to get a claim on Ramondre Stevenson, like I talked about last week, because I figured he was going to have a good matchup here, but obviously Greg got him, and I feel like he might become a rising star. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely a great pickup by him, man.
I'd say he's definitely on his way up, but I don't know how high he's going to get before, not so much he plateaus, but before he kind of rides the edge of his glory and brings it back down. He's got to prove that he's going to keep going up and up.
Would you say?
I mean, I think
he's definitely become more consistent though in these past few weeks.
Oh, definitely. I think so.
So I think he's going to be riding this line a little bit, and then he's going to shoot up.
Especially with Damian Harris getting hurt on the Patriots too. Yeah, and they get a QB situation with Bailey Zapp at quarterback, but honestly,
but he's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the Patriots aren't looking too bad. They beat the Browns 38-15. And then Greg also had the Patriots defense who put up 14 points. So he's got to be pretty happy about that. So Greg gets the upset victory, and he's now 2-4. Cameron falls to 2-4 after Cameron telling me during the week that he was going to beat Greg, but he was sadly wrong. I mean, who's surprised, right? So I want to move into the next game of the week, or not game of the week, but the next game we had, which was 50 Shades of Trey versus Double Gulp Cup, a 2-3 team coming in and playing a 5-0 team, and Nick ended up pulling this one out 116.26 to 105.72. Luckily, we have both of the players right here. So, Nick, you moved to 6-0 with a comeback win over Dalton. How do you feel about that?
I was definitely not confident. I was at projected 3%, and that was definitely scary. But close matchup. Probably the lowest I've scored so far, but a win's a win. Josh Allen, always good. Zach Ertz is actually surprising me. He's been pretty consistent for me. Been getting all the hate from that trade previously, but
yeah,
he's pretty good on my team. Kenneth Walker. Woo!
Yeah, that was a solid pickup.
Great pickup. Great pickup.
What do you have, like 18, 19 points or something?
19 fantasy points. Projected 12. Can't really say much for everybody else. Cooper Kupp, I think that's his lowest scoring week for him, but not under 10, so it works. But, yeah. Close game. Definitely a nail biter. I really thought this week was my end, but we're riding strong at 6-0 now.
Oh, there you go. Dalton, you must be pretty disappointed with how Cortland Sutton and Dallas Goedert played in both of their primetime games. So
yeah, I didn't go into this week with much confidence, like Nick did, mainly because a lot of my main players I relied on were on a bye week, like Dameon Pierce, Derek Carr, Hawkinson, Monroe, Carlson. Like all my people are on bye weeks. I was running my JV bench warmer squad. And then I thought I made a good choice with my defense. Puts up 0. Wilson decides to only put up half a point after putting over 20 the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing. I mean, I get the frustration there. And if you want to talk frustration, Tom Brady. I don't know if you guys watched the Buccaneers and Steelers game, but they lost 20-18. Yeah, and he was pissed off. He was yelling at his offensive line. I mean, Brady's probably I think he's done after this year, honestly. I mean, everyone's
not happy, man.
I mean, not happy, man. He just lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
That is a low blow right there, especially in his career.
If I was Tom Brady, I would have retired probably the year he won the Super Bowl, and then would have hung it up.
But no,
don't tarnish the legacy too much. Or even last year when he said he was going to retire and he was going to go to the booth, and he came back out of retirement, I wouldn't have done that.
And now he has marital problems.
Yeah, now he has marital problems. I mean, it's a whole shit show for him. I mean, we covered that a couple episodes ago, but exactly, it's just not looking good for him. And I think he's, as much as I hate to say it, he's washed. He's washed now. He's not as good as he was.
Who knows if this divorce does get finalized and he gets left alone? He's going to take that rage out somehow.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. On the positive side for you, Dalton, Tyreek Hill was really good. He put up 29 points.
Yeah,
I was impressed by that.
Solid yards and reception.
Yeah, no touchdowns. He had 12 receptions on 15 targets for 177 yards. That's pretty damn good. Almost 200 yards receiving. Nick, I just want to point out that James Robinson, he had more carries than Travis Etienne, but he put up less points, so I found that a little odd. Considering last week's distribution between Travis Etienne and James Robinson. I thought James Robinson would have took a lot less carries, but it still worked out in the point factor, but that was a little surprising. That's going to move us into our next game. Back to the Future, myself, taking on Bryce, Watson's Massage Parlor. I ended up pulling this one out 137.7 to 100.08. Bryce, loss number 6.
Yeah.
I mean, what is there to say? You know?
Nothing but just constant disappointment for my team. I mean, I expected the Packers to go out there and absolutely piss pound the Jets, but apparently I was wrong. They just didn't perform. I mean, I had a couple of good guys, that performed a little well, but other than that, Jones, he only had 7. Romeo Dobbs had 6. Kareem Hunt only had 1 point, which was very, very disappointing. But when I looked at Nick Chubb, he also didn't have a lot of points from the game. So I can't really... I guess Cleveland didn't have a good run day. Crosby, my kicker, only got me 3 points. Saints got me 4. I mean, it's just a downhill slide.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, and on top of that, Marquise Brown now is probably done for the season. So
yeah, he's definitely. If they go to playoffs, he might come back for playoffs, but I don't see him coming back.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. And honestly, I think the Packers need to get Aaron Jones the ball more, as he only had 9 carries, and I think the run game is the heart and soul of that team, and they kind of just turned away from it. He only had 9 carries and only put up like 7 points. So that's
let washed up A-Rod go out there and throw interceptions left and right. Not even interceptions, just missed passes.
Exactly. So on my end of the game there, I did end up winning, but I'm kind of kicking myself for not starting Travis Etienne. I hyped him up last show. I had faith in him, and then I second-guessed myself, and I started Mostert, and then I started Darrell Henderson in my flex, which Darrell Henderson wasn't that bad. Put up 13. He was under projections, but better than I thought he would have done. But Mr. Raheem Mustard only put up 5.8 points, and he kind of disappointed me. Along with Lamar, he only had 17. That's his 3rd week in a row where he hasn't hit 20. At least Mark Andrews was good. I will say he had 23 points. And Najee Harris actually did something when I didn't start him. He put up 12 points. He had a touchdown for once. And out of all teams, it was against the Bucks. So, of course, that happens once I put him on the bench. What do you do?
Wasn't that Najee Harris's first touchdown of the season?
I think it might be his second, because he had one week 1. I remember that. But he's done dog shit so far.
He's literally done nothing.
Yeah, exactly. At least he didn't get out-touched by Jalen Moore in this game. That's a better thing. So I want to talk about my little defensive shuffle I made, and which was a mental mistake on my part. So I had the Chargers defense going into Monday night, and I was looking around on Sunday night when we were watching the games, looking at the waiver wire, looking for a defense to pick up for the next week. So I stumbled upon the Denver Broncos, and I would like to their matchup for next week. So then I ended up adding the Broncos, but I didn't realize that my defense didn't play yet and the Broncos didn't play yet. So it wasn't a waiver claim. It was a straight up ad. And then I was like, oh shit. So like 5 minutes before the Eagles and Cowboys game started, I added the Eagles defense. And honestly, I didn't really need to do any of that, just considering I would have won either way if I didn't start defense or not. But it was kind of a defensive blunder for me, and I felt pretty stupid after that, not going to lie. With that being, Bryce, you fall to 0-6. I go to 4-2. So the question I pose is, should Bryce tank?
No,
I don't think so.
I give myself one more week.
One more week, huh? Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. I mean, you're 0-6 right now. Trade deadlines is week 11. So I think if you kind of ride it out for like another 2 or 3 weeks and it doesn't go your way, I mean, honestly, I'd trade players for picks and just build for next year.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
I mean, obviously keep your best guy, but what do you do?
Yeah,
I would keep as a keeper. Jonathan Taylor?
I would like to bring this up as a little something. I know this wasn't part of the script, but I would like to bring up Cameron's trade he wanted to offer me, and it was very, very tempting this week. He was going to trade me Chris Kirk, Alan Lazard, J.K. Dobbins, and a first-round pick for Deebo Samuel and Jonathan Taylor in a 10th round. But I don't want to get rid of Deebo. He's been pretty consistent for me this year.
Yeah, Deebo hasn't been bad, honestly. But Cameron really wants him. I'll tell you that. That's what I know.
Oh, I know. He also really wants Jonathan Taylor because him and I were talking on the off, and he was like, the trade deadline ends in, on Wednesday, and it was like Tuesday during the day at work when I was at work. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm still thinking.
Yeah, there is that.
And he's like, well, I said, I would like to do this trade next week if you wanna, because if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play this week and plays like shit, I'll give you the same trade next week. He's like, well, maybe the same trade won't be there next week. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You give me the same trade next week. You want him that bad? You offered 2 weeks in a row now. He's tried to trade me. He's tried to get Taylor and Debo from me.
That's all it is.
He ain't gonna get shit.
Exactly.
Let me tell you.
Then we're gonna talk about the game of the week. Nick Chubb taking on Big Ben Sexton, and Nick Chubb loses the second week in a row by a score of 104.98 to 137.12. And is Dyson running out of steam? I feel like he is.
Everyone's saying that I'm going to start my downfall, but I think it's the real downfall is Dyson.
Yeah.
Tyson's already started his downfall, but Nick, you have yet to start yours.
Oh, well, we'll get into that later, but yeah, I think Dyson started his downfall right now. Sucks.
Yeah. Austin Eckler was a monster again with 24 points. He had like 30-some the last 2 weeks, and he just continues on his tirade. But the rest of his team, besides Michael Pittman, who put up 26, is shit. So everyone was doing bad.
I don't know what he's
and
Dyson's got the knee.
Smith.
So funny story.
Dyson's just starting to play like me, man.
Yeah, funny story about the Geno Smith thing. So he messaged me on Sunday morning, like he does every week, and he asked me what quarterback he should start, and it's always like some fucking weird waiver wire ass quarterback, and then against Joe Burrow. And so he's like, should I start Geno Smith or Joe Burrow this week? And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, my advice ain't free. I mean, it's his team, so he can make the decisions however he wants. But I just jokingly said Geno season, and he's like, so start Geno Smith. I'm like, yeah, sure. And Joe Burrow put up like 35. So is that one on me? It might be, but it's his team.
So.
It's his responsibility to make his own decisions.
To be honest, if I was him, I'd start Joe Burrow since week 1. I really don't know why he's switching quarterbacks.
He's looking for that immediate production, man, and I think that's what's killing him.
He's not going to get it. That's the problem. He doesn't have a quarterback. He keeps changing quarterbacks, and he has a consistent one from Joe Burrow.
So what if why doesn't he start him?
Exactly. So what if he put 18 fantasy points against Baltimore? He's been consistent so far. He hasn't gone under 15. There's no reason for not starting Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting decision by him.
Putting Geno Smith? I know I'm a Seahawks fan, but Geno Smith in fantasy, like that's a dog shit move.
But Nick, it's
you
Geno
have to start
season.
Putting. It's not Geno season in fantasy
season,
football.
Baby. It's confirmed.
In fantasy football, it is not Geno season.
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 Yeah. Geno Sizzle.
But yes, I'm very disappointed that he hasn't been started.
So on Cooper's side of the ball, then Justin Herbert only had 9.42, but the rest of his team was pretty solid. Stephon Diggs has been good again with 30 points this week. Christian McCaffrey had 22. Mike Gesicki and his unseasoned gritty, as RG3 said, put up 24.9. That's pretty solid. And he had a couple of players on Monday night, and honestly, that Monday night game was just a disappointment in terms of lack of offense. So let's move us right into player of the week. So who do you guys think should be the player of the week?
Jamar Chase.
I would say definitely Jamar Chase. I mean, maybe a close second would be Stephon, but I think Jamar Chase is definitely the.
Yeah, I would agree with Jamar Chase. It would have been Joe Burrow if Dyson would have started him. But I'm definitely going to have to give it to Jamar Chase. 32 points, a big comeback game for him after kind of lacking production after a while. So that's pretty impressive for him. Honorable mention would obviously be Stephon Diggs and Joe Burrow, and I'd even throw Ramondre Stevenson in the mix for that. So that's going to be our prediction for player of the week, or that's going to be our call for player of the week there. We're going to move right into waiver wire ads. So we had quite a bit of moves today. Starting off with Bryce, you added Gabriel Davis and dropped Tyler Boyd.
I didn't really Tyler Boyd, he wasn't really doing much for me. And I figured, saw Gabe Davis, and I'm like, oh, he'll definitely do better as a second, like a backup receiver or even a starting receiver. He does good enough,
Yeah, and you also made a move like 18 minutes before the show. You picked up Juju Smith-Schuster after I dropped him. He put up 22? Yeah, 22 points.
Yeah, something like that.
Of course, when I drop him, he actually starts to produce. So hopefully he's a decent fit for you.
I figured I had to grab him because was it Marquise Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marquise Brown just snapped his ankle in half, apparently. So he's done for the year. And I figured, he's not going to do me much to sit on my bench the rest of the year. So we'll pick up Juju and hope he does me some justice this rest of the season. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, there you go. Dalton, you picked up the Giants defense, dropped the Jaguars defense, and then you also reacquired your kicker from last week. So what do you like about the Giants matchup this week?
So I took the Giants because they're playing Jacksonville. Even though this past week I had Jacksonville. I had them pick Jacksonville against the Colts because they put 24 up to nothing against the Colts. Then they give the Colts 34 points. So I'm not going to take my chances. But the Giants defense is at least semi-consistent. So I'm hoping that they'll be a key player to my offense this week.
Yeah, that's a better move, I'd say. The Jaguars defense has no longevity. So, Nick, you added Trevor Lawrence, obviously with Josh Allen being on a bye this week. Do you feel confident in Trevor Lawrence?
Kind of on the edge with him right now, but I think he's going to be okay against the Giants. But we'll see what kind of happens with him.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Other moves, the move I made was I acquired Jacoby Myers and dropped Darrell Henderson. And then I also picked up a kicker, Brett Maher, this week and dropped Matt Gay. And then I also picked up the Bengals defense instead of the Eagles defense, so I dropped them. And I feel like the Jacoby Myers was a good deal. Obviously, I got Darrell Henderson and also Matt Gay. They were on their bye week because they're on the Rams. So I feel pretty solid about those moves. I feel like Jacoby Myers is someone who's been hot lately, and he might produce. Playing a bad Bears team, so that's going to be a interesting Monday night game. And then other moves across the league included Greg picking up Daniel Jones as his quarterback because he had Kirk Cousins and Jalen Hurts, who are both off this week. Cameron picked up Dak Prescott and dropped Zach Wilson. And then Dyson added the Jets defense. He dropped the Bills defense, and he also reacquired Tua Tagovailoa and dropped Geno Smith. So
hopefully he doesn't start him.
Yeah. Hopefully he learns his lesson.
So we've watched Dyson play Geno Smith over Joe Burrow. And earlier in the season, Dyson traded Wilson for Tua. Then Tua had his whole concussion.
It's a whole fiasco with Nick Chubb right now.
He can't be consistent with the quarterbacks.
I really don't know what Dyson's doing. I think he needs to pick a quarterback and stick with that quarterback instead of switching.
His once 4-0 empire is falling. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's crumbling. What do you do?
As I say, it's crumbling around him.
Exactly.
You can see it.
So
I'm thinking he's going to start Tua, though, because he didn't get much of a chance to see what he could do.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he honestly might, just because, I've seen some videos from various different Instagram accounts and pretty much all over the internet that Tua actually looks really, really good.
Yeah, but I don't trust that, though.
I don't trust it either, but it's just, I mean,
it's like, why put Tua when you have Joe Burrow, who hasn't been injured, who hasn't had a concussion, who can actually put up consistent points. And I don't know. I hope Dyson listens to this podcast, and I'm telling you right now, Dyson, switching your quarterbacks is not the way to go. This is why you're going downhill.
I mean, come on, who wants to play good players? Come on. We want to play the ones that can get hurt. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Let's just play our shittiest teams. Let's put our JV squads out there like Dalton last week.
Hey, that wasn't by choice.
Hey, I've always been JV squad. I don't know what you're talking about.
Bryce is the king of JV squads over here.
Damn right. I got the JV championship over here.
Yeah,
No, you're more like middle school.
he's got his
No, JV.
No.
little Tykes award.
Yeah.
That was the waiver wire ads. So we're gonna move right on into.
Actually, real quick, recently, 7 hours ago, I made a roster move. I picked up the Seahawks.
Oh, I
defense
see.
and
Yes.
the 49ers defense.
Don't like the 49ers against the Chiefs, I'm assuming?
No. Seahawks country. Let's fly.
Oh, there you go. He's going to keep running with that. He's going to run with that bit and go. All right. So now we can talk about our matchups for next week. So let's do a little rundown of the prediction records here. I come in atop with a 6-3 prediction record. Then Nick and Bryce are tied at 5-4. And then Cameron is at 4-5. And Dalton, guessing for the first time last week, he's 2-1. So coming into next week, we got our game of the week first, which is going to be Back to the Future taking on Double Gulp Cup. Nick, it's me versus you.
Hey, can I predict in this one? It's an L for me. You already see the percentage.
You say that, but you've just had this streak so far that I don't know if I can stop the momentum.
No. Shut your mouth.
Let's not.
I am going 6-1. I am going 6-1. I don't have Josh Allen. I don't have Cooper Kupp. I don't have my good players. I had to start Josh Jacobs.
But Nick, I thought you had the best player ever in Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Shut your mouth. He's definitely not enough. But yeah, I definitely do not feel comfortable with this matchup, and I really think this is gonna be my first loss.
I think Josh Jacobs versus Houston is nice for you.
It should be a good game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for him, not the team.
Yeah, I got Justin Jefferson on bye this week, so I'll be without him, but I got Chris Olave and T. Higgins in there at wide receiver, so Olave's been good lately. He's just coming off of a concussion, though, so we'll see if that alters his play at all. And then Chris Godwin in my flex, and I just picked up Jacoby Myers, so I'm debating between Jacoby Myers, Travis Etienne, and Najee Harris for that final flex spot. It's really going to depend on injuries, though. I got a couple of people who are questionable right now. Lamar is questionable, but I honestly expect him to play. And then Mark Andrews is also questionable, but I also expect him to play. And Raheem Mostert, though, I'm not really sure on, and T. Higgins I'm not really sure on. So we'll see how that plays out for me.
If injuries are a concern, then maybe there's a chance, but other than that, I do not feel comfortable.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this one plays out. Dalton, who do you got in this matchup?
I just want to say Nick did come off of a 3% chance of winning last week. So I'm gonna go with Nick. I'm gonna go against the grain on this one.
Well, there you go. Bryce, who do you think is gonna win this matchup?
Just because Nick's on JV this week. I wish the best of luck to him, but I'm gonna have to go with you there, Jer.
There you go. You got an even split from the analysts this week. Then in our next matchup, we got Judge Judy taking on Nick's Chubb. Do I really want to believe in Cameron again to win? He's playing Dyson, though, who's on his downfall. I mean, looking at the matchups here, I think Dyson could put up a W this week. I see a lot of green in the matchups. Joe Burrow versus Atlanta, as long as he starts him. Eckler versus Seattle. Nick Chubb versus Baltimore. And green.
He's got to figure out his kicker spot.
Yeah. He's got to, I'm sure he'll find someone to drop in there at kicker as long as he doesn't forget. So I'm probably going to go with Dyson for this game. I've counted on Cameron last week and he disappointed me, so I just can't do it again. And looks like that he's going to have some tough matchups on the other side, so we'll see about that. Nick, who do you think is going to win between Cameron and Dyson?
Like you said, I'm not a big Cameron fan, but I do like his team. I do like Breece Hall against Denver, Derrick Henry against Indy, and then D-Hop. D-Hop's coming back. So, kind of see what happens there. Patrick Mahomes, we'll kind of see what happens. But sadly, I'll have to choose Cameron. I still think that this is Dyson's downfall. If he doesn't place that kicker, he's stupid. And if he switches out Joe Burrow, he's also stupid. So I really don't have hope in Dyson right now. So I'm going to go with Cameron.
I know I need Dyson to lose for me to go up in the standings, but I'm rooting for Dyson here. That's just me though.
Um,
Yeah, Bryce, what
I'm
do
gonna
you
have
think here?
to. I am gonna have to agree with you there, Jarrett. Just because Cameron has been such a salty dog to us this whole year, and
Got that
even though
right.
he can't admit defeat, he's just gotta be the saltiest guy in this league. So I'm gonna have to go with Dyson on this one. But like you said, Nick, he's got to figure out that kicker, or else he's SOL pretty much.
Exactly. Which I doubt he'll forget, but we'll see. As long as no one reminds him, it's kind of his responsibility to put a kicker. So
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So Dalton, who do you think is going to win here?
See, for me, it's a tough choice because Cameron in the so far season has been super cocky all the time before games even start, and then it comes back to bite him. But Dyson, just with his team, he's not like all there. It just seems like he's getting careless. I think I'm gonna have to go Cameron on this one.
That's fair. So we got a pretty overall even split for that one. The next game on the list here, we got 50 Shades of Trey coming in at 2-4, taking on Watson's Massage Parlor coming in at 0-6. Interesting matchup here between you two, I'll tell you that. Honestly, looking at it, I feel like it could be pretty evenly split, but I'm going to have to go with Dalton here. I think I am, just because I like St. Brown being back against Dallas. I like Amari Cooper against Baltimore. Baltimore's blown a lot of leads lately. Saquon Barkley against Jacksonville I like. And I feel like, Bryce, you're going to have some receiver trouble just with Marquise Brown being gone. So
I am hoping that's not going to be the case here, folks. I mean, I still got Devo, Romeo Dobbs. Hopefully he can pick it up, or at least Rodgers can pull his shit together. I'll have a somewhat better week. And your arch nemesis, Juju. I'm kind of counting on him to do me some justice.
Yeah, we'll have to see with him. He was pretty inconsistent for me. Nick, who are you picking in this one?
it's gonna be Dalton.
Gonna be Dalton. There you go.
No explanation. I'm sorry, Bryce.
Oh, wow. There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Okay, Nick.
I already lost
Hardcount on
hope. I'm
Bryce.
sorry. I gave you so many chances. I like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row.
You gave me
I
two
voted on you,
chances.
and I'm sorry. It's gonna be Dalton.
So then our final matchup of the week, we got Jordan's Nut, Greg, taking on Cooper, Big Ben, Sexton. Cooper's coming in at 4-2. Greg is coming in at 2-4. It looks like a pretty evenly split matchup so far. I'm probably going to have to take Cooper again. I just think he's been hot lately, and I think he's going to win another one. Greg is also on a 2-game winning streak, but I think that ends this week. So
No,
who do
you
guys
gotta
think
faith
here?
Greggy Poo.
You have faith in Greg?
Oh yeah. If there's one man that I think will have an uprise, it's Greg. As much as he does not check his team, as little care as he puts into this league, he's been doing this good thus far. He's on a two game uprising. I mean, he actually creamed Cameron.
He did. That's true.
If that happens this week, I have a little bit of doubt in him, but not as much as I did in him last week. So,
Nick, who do you think's going to win?
This is a hard one because again, both teams have really good players. But I have to go with Greg on this.
yes, sir. The Greg train.
He's got the New England defense. I think they're gonna put up 20 plus.
On the Bears, they might.
Yeah, I really think they're gonna put up 20 plus. Mike Williams against Seattle, we'll kind of have to see from there. He's really inconsistent, especially like last year. But I think he's gonna have a big game. Jamar Chase is gonna have a big game. I don't know about Danny Dimes, but hopefully he gets up to like that's like above 17 plus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jordan Snutt.
Dalton, who do you think is going to win this?
I'm gonna have to go with Greg on this one, just because both teams have good matchups, but I definitely think Greg is coming for everyone. I think we've been doubting him way too much at the start of this season.
I feel like he's gonna get comeback team of the year.
He's gonna
He might.
make it.
Very
He's
well.
gonna go places.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been on sort of a tirade lately, and I think he said last year when I was talking to him that his season started off the same way as last year, where he was losing games at first, and then he won a bunch and he snuck into the playoffs. So that might happen again this year. We'll have to see. But that's all of our matchups for Week 7. It should be another exciting week in the Hardcount Heroes Fantasy League. And that's going to about wrap things up for us here in Episode 4. So if you guys enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe here on YouTube. Then go check out the other socials on the graphic right now. There's the Instagram and the TikTok. And we're also going to have a lot more quality content coming your way through the season, so make sure you stay up to date with the league. And boys, if you wish to say your goodbyes, please do it now.
What happened? How can it lose?
It's either getting cooked or
This is Seattle Seahawks.